Have you ever wanted to try a new character, but you didn't understand any of this? Of course it has. Look at it. Which is why this video will help you understand how to properly use a character. I will not talk about artifacts or weapons, and your numbers and attack percentages may be different from mine. Check your own for the true damage you will deal. Today, we will be talking about Nefer, who has a Dendro Moon Wheel, which just means she uses Dendro and is from Nod Cry. Looking at her talents, the top one here is her normal attack, which is the left mouse button or the circle button. The normal attack has a 4-hit combo, with the attack being dealt according to this chart per hit. If you hold down the attack button for a charged normal attack, she will run forwards and use this amount of stamina until you either let go or 2.5 seconds have passed. Then she will do this amount of attack and drain this amount of stamina. If you attack from above, this is the attack you will deal to enemies you land on, and this is the additional attack you will do to enemies around your landing area depending on how high you were. The second talent is her elemental skill, activated with the E key or the right trigger. When used, Nefer will attack in front of her, using this to calculate the damage. And for the next 9 seconds, the screen will darken. During this time, your normal charged attack can be changed into a moon charged attack, but only if you have moons. You get moons when you trigger a Dendro Hydro reaction, causing a moon to charge up over 2.5 seconds. In this footage, I am getting moons constantly because every attack I'm doing is a Dendro Hydro reaction. You can store up to 3 moons at once, and can only use the moon charged attack during those dark 9 seconds 3 times before the phase will end. The moon charged attack does 5 hits according to this chart. If you have no moons and used a charged normal attack during the dark phase, the stamina cost at the end would be lower than normal. The third talent is her elemental burst, activated with the Q key or the triangle button. The burst will deal this amount of Dendro attack in front of her. However, if we look at her fourth talent, it says that if you have 2 Moon Wheel users in your current party, when you activate Nefer's elemental skill, all of the Hydro-Dendro blooms you have created will change into a new object called a seed. The seeds look like this. These do not act like normal Dendro cores and will not react to other elements. When Nefer uses either her moon or normal charged attacks, she can absorb up to 3 of these seeds, which will be held for 9 seconds. Then, when she activates her elemental burst, the damage dealt will be increased by this percentage per seed absorbed. Yes, that was complicated. Let me repeat it, simply. With 2 Moon Wheel users in the party, using her elemental skill changes all Dendro cores into seeds. She can absorb these seeds by using either of her charged attacks, and when she uses her elemental burst, the amount of seeds she absorbed increases the damage by this much per seed. You can see how many seeds you have absorbed by your health bar. Her fourth talent also says that it increases the damage of her moon charged attack by 8% per seed, as well as making it so that when you have 3 seeds currently absorbed, Nefer's elemental mastery is increased by 100 for 8 seconds. The fifth talent says that while in the darkened screen state, caused by her elemental skill, it allows Nefer's normal charged attack to give additional moon progress when causing a Dendro Hydro reaction. This will increase by 10% for every 100 elemental mastery she has over 500, to a maximum of 50%. The 6th talent will cause your dendro-hydro reactions to deal additional damage called Lunar Blooms. This will be calculated by adding 0.0175% to the attack for every point of elemental mastery she has, up to 14%. That is this number here. And the 7th talent lets her give 25% more rewards when dispatched on an expedition to Nod Cry with the Adventurers Guild for 20 hours. Additionally, she is also able to use her elemental skill on certain NPCs in Nasha Town to gain information and do additional quests. Now, let's move on to Nefer's Constellation. You normally acquire these by wishing for another copy of Nefer on her banner. If you don't plan on wishing for her again, you don't need to know any of these. The 1st star causes her 6th talent's Lunar Blooms, caused by her moon-charged attacks, to have its base damage increased by 60% of her elemental mastery. So 60% of your elemental mastery is added to that attack damage. With your moon-charged attack, Lunar Bloom, reactions. The 2nd star extends the time you can keep the seeds you absorb from 9 seconds to 14 seconds, as well as increasing the amount you can have absorbed at once, from 3 to 5. When she uses her elemental skill, she will automatically gain 2 seeds. If she reaches 5 seeds, her elemental mastery will increase by 200 for 8 seconds instead of the usual 100. The 3rd star increases her elemental skill talent's level by 3 and increases its maximum level from 10 to 15. The 4th star says that while the screen is darkened from her elemental skill, you will gain moons 25% faster. Additionally, nearby enemies will have their dendro resistance decreased by 20%. This will go away 4.5 seconds after the darkened state ends. The 5th star increases her elemental burst talent's level by 3 and increases its maximum level from 10 to 15. The 6th and final star makes it so that when Nefer uses her moon-charged attack, this part of the attack will change to an area of effect damage and use 85% of her elemental mastery as attack. After the last hit of the moon-charged attack, there will be another area of effect hit, which will deal 120% of Nefer's elemental mastery as damage. Also, her 6th talent's Lunar Bloom's damage will increase by 15% if there are 2 Moon Wheel users in the party. So, that was my untangling for how Nefer works. I don't understand how they expect casual players to understand this. Simplifying this was pain. If this character fits into a strategy you have, great. I would only recommend using her if you already have another Moon Wheel user in your party, or you will be missing out on a good source of damage. So, please comment and tell me if everything I said was wrong, or if I happened to get you to use her character. If you're still confused, rewatch the video until it is embedded in your brain. Be seeing you.